Right, this is the most fucked up display I've ever done, I have to admit. My bed is currently leaning up against the wall. My mattress is there. I have a light spewing on me here. My tripod is broken, so at the moment I'm balancing my camera on top of two boxes. So, what are the hazards here? So my bed could fall over at any moment, break my camera, which would break my light, or my camera could fall off, which would probably catch on that wire and break my light. So either way, I could lose out on like £700 worth of equipment here. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? I did forget to put my Owlboy top on. Oh, this is not good. I am not prepared for this. Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of Indie Gaming News with me, Nerk. I don't know what I'm doing there, sorry. But anyway, this will be the first of many videos, once a month. Once a month we'll look over some indie games that I have picked out that are coming out over the next month. So as of this month, obviously, I'll be looking at games that are coming out in February, next month. This will be uploaded in February, so yeah, this month. So I'm looking to do more new stuff like this, so, you know, this will be indie games. I'll be doing another one for anime, and maybe some other game reviews too. Either way, let's just dive right into the games. Quite known for a variety of different things, mainly for their colourful and very extravagant looking games that we saw in, what was the game name? Zombie Vikings, that was it, yeah, Zombie Vikings, that was a few years ago. But this is really the kind of different type of game that Zoink are making, I think. It's a little bit different compared to their usual type of games, because Zombie Vikings is its own game in general. This is more of a puzzle type game where you interact with the environment. You know, there's no dialogue, so the players are forced to kind of use their visuals, you know, focus on the visuals within the game and focus on what they hear in the game as well, because there's no dialogue. If anything, it sounded like from the trailer that stuff's kind of spoken in a slightly different language. So you kind of transported, is that even a right word? You're in a different world, that's basically what I'm trying to say here. Usually with games type like this, that's very much, you know, about the visuals and the audio. They're usually very narrative-driven games, and if you know me, that I like my narrative-driven games. And to be honest, this does look very narrative-driven, this game. You've got Fae, a fox-like creature, as I've said, you know, and then you've got the silent ones, who you are fighting against in the forest. So, you know, it's definitely an element of story there that's worth looking into. There's a lot of questions that were raised from this, you know, this type of game, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It's definitely a game that I'm going to check out during February, and I advise you all to check it out too. Actually, a pixelated Nintendo Switch game. So this is just a game for the Nintendo Switch, guys. Obviously, we know that Nintendo are looking to do a lot more with indie games over the coming, you know, however long they want to do it for. But it's kind of good that Nintendo Switch are kind of branching out into indie games and trying to utilize that market. It could overtake Microsoft, if anything, in terms of the console indie game area that is being built. Dandara is going to be one of the indie games that comes out on the Switch in this year, you know, next month, particularly. As much as I can't play it because I don't have a Nintendo Switch, I am still kind of excited to see playthroughs of it. You know, I still think it's worth talking about, because particularly the Nintendo Switch encompassing a lot of indie games, I think it's a very interesting move from Nintendo. It shows that they're kind of branching out a little bit more, usually from their you know, they're very contained, aren't they? Nintendo, with their own stuff, and you rarely ever see them branch out into other areas, and they're very reserved over the games that they create as well. So it's interesting to see them branch out and tackle some of the indie games, because that kind of, you know, indie games are known to be quite experimental, so it's quite interesting to see what they can do with Nintendo Switch. But about Dandara, it looks smooth, it's action-packed, it's fast-paced. You know, it's relevant. The narrative's about minority and oppression, which is, you know, kind of bringing out outside influences here from real life at the moment, and you know, that's pretty. I think that's quite. I don't think I've ever seen a game do that much. So it's quite interesting to see games bringing in those influences, particularly indie games, because those are the best in my opinion, those are the best kind of ways that you can do that, I think. There's no doubting that it is pixelatingly beautiful. Why I wanted to talk about this game is because it's very artsy, and it's got one of those narratives that withholds a lot of knowledge. Well, this is what it looks like anyway from the trailer. It withholds a lot of knowledge from the player. So any bit of knowledge you find out is like a fucking diamond in the rough, right? It's amazing. Like you lose your shit. You know, if you see me play if you played Bendy and the Ink Machine, then you know you'll know what it's like to find any sort of narrative. Or if you watch Attack on Titan, you know, you're just like any sort of narrative at all that kind of progresses the story. You're just like, I'm going to jump on that shit now. But it is a very puzzly sort of game, so it's very much about finding clues and piecing it all together. So it's, you know, that's what I mean by it's quite a captivating narrative. Plus, it looks beautiful as well. It does look beautiful. To be fair, all these games look beautiful. I mean, Jesus, they're you know, indie games these days. You know, you just can't help but just love the look of them. A lot of them, they're just so good. Game that I wanted to talk about was a game that I've been excited for a while now, and it's called Kingdom Come Deliverance, and that's coming out next month, and I am super hyped for that. It's a first-person RPG set in, I think it's like 1500 Europe at the time, so it's not fantasy, it's real, it's gritty, and it's trying to capture the sense of medieval, basically, the medieval times, the Dark Ages, and I find that quite interesting because we don't actually have a game like that, and that's why I'm actually quite excited for it, because I'm a massive history buff myself and anything medieval I love. So this game does pique my interest quite a lot. I think it's going to be quite good. It'd be interesting to see, kind of try and make connections. If you're a massive history fan yourself, it'd be interesting to try and make some connections with historical moments or historical facts or anything like that you guys are interested in. It'd be pretty cool to notice anything like that if they have included that. One thing I'm worried about is that I'm not sure if this will happen, but they might turn it into a bit of a cash cow and try and milk it as much as they can. If they try and do that, I'm going to be quite disappointed, because that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing a lot of AAA games these days, is because they're just cash cows and they try and milk the shit out of them. And it just puts me off them completely, because it's, you know, I don't want to play it. I want to buy the game and then play it. I don't want to buy it and then have to buy 70 quid's worth more of add-ons and stuff like that, you know, to get the full thing of the game, and in the end I'm having to end up paying like £200 for the game or something like that. But yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance will be coming 13th of February, just before Valentine's Day. So if you have a loved one and they love medieval shit, that's definitely a good present for them. I'm going to tell you that now. Okay, so in other news, what other news do we have? Wait, what? Is that I hear? That's not my ear, Dom. That's my ear. What is that I hear? Something about Owlboy coming to console. What? Owlboy's coming to console? Which is really strange because it's already a bit late, but they're not fixed. This is, right, there's nothing wrong with Owlboy coming to console, right? Because if you're like me and you got annoyed with the using mouse and keyboard when playing the game, got really frustrated when in the fight scenes of the mouse and keyboard because it was just almost impossible, then it's great to be able for it to come to console, because I know that if I was in those battle scenes using a controller, it would be so much easier. I would not have a problem with those battle scenes if I was using a controller, because I'm such a casual gamer and I like controller more than keyboard and mouse. I'm sorry guys, you're probably going to kill me for that, but I do, in most senses, like to use a controller compared to keyboard and mouse. Yeah, in that sense, it's a good thing. You know, being able to, for it coming to console is a bit late, but great. Owlboy coming to console, absolutely great. But they said that they weren't going to fix the glitches a few months ago. They said they weren't going to fix the glitches within the game. They said they weren't going to release any patches for it because they were in talks with speedrunners, and they found out that some of the glitches, I think, were included in the speedrunning of the game, and they didn't want to alter any of the speedrunners' times in the game, which is fair enough. I mean, I can understand that. They want people to be playing the game, they want people to be speedrunning the game. You know, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But are they going to leave some of those glitches in when it comes to console? Are they going to clear them up? Because they kind of need to clear them up. Some of the glitches and the bugs in the game are pretty bad and pretty basic, so you know, you kind of want them to be cleared up. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a massive fan of Owlboy. I love it. As you can see, I even bought merchandise for Owlboy. Sorry, I don't know, touching my nipples for. But as you can see, I bought merchandise for Owlboy. You know, I love the game when I played it on my channel. You know, it's amazing. It was probably my favourite game that came out in 2016. But it's not perfect. They need to clear some shit up on it. They really need to fix some stuff. So you know, I hope that you know, for the console version they clear some stuff up. I probably won't be buying it for console because I'm a poor ass student, but still, you know, it will be interesting to see and hear a lot about when it comes out to console and what people think. Anyway, that's it for February's. I'm nailing this episode, aren't I? That's it for February's episode of. That's it for February's episode of Gaming News, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and love it. If you love it, I will keep doing it. I actually quite enjoyed doing this episode. Doing the research was fun too, and just setting this up was a nightmare. It took me about half an hour of time that I could have used to record this episode. But is that 74 minutes? What the fuck? Oh no, that's 20. Alright, don't worry, that says 24. Thank God. Right. I thought I'd been recording for 74 minutes then. That would have been, wow. The anime news stuff would be in a similar sort of style to this. But I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all next time. Auf Wiedersehen.